I'll come to the back.
Thanks, Karine. So Americans are seeing, when we talk about the economy in general, Americans are seeing energy prices up 24%, including electricity, since President Biden took office. Food prices are up 18% in the last 2 years. Manufacturing lost jobs for the last 2 months in a row. And inflation is outpacing wages for 26 months in a row. How does the president then sell to the American people to keep going with these economic policies?
So look, again, going to be careful about 2024. Anything that's related. No, I'm going to answer your question. Okay, I'm going to answer your question. Just want to be, because you said moving forward, so just want to be very careful here. Look, the president always is very clear. When he talks about the economy, he always says, one of the things that he says very frequently is that when it comes to inflation, when it comes to lowering costs, that is a priority for him, and he has shown to do that. And if you talked about inflation, annual inflation has fallen over the last 9 months. It is moderating. That is something that we have seen from the data that has come out. Wages are higher than they were 9 months ago. Incomes are up, and consumer spending is strong. But he understands that American people are still feeling some of of this inflation, right? Still feeling some of the higher cost. But again, we're doing the work. We have laid out the president's economic policy, and you've seen it. You've seen 12.6 million jobs have been created since the president took office. We've gained all the jobs lost during the pandemic and created 3 million more. You always ask me that question, so there goes your answer. And unemployment is nearly 50-year low, and black unemployment is at a record low. So we see that in the data that comes out pretty regularly, right, monthly, and the president's going to continue doing the work. Again, understanding that many Americans are still feeling some of the high costs, which is why the president has made this a priority.
In his event this afternoon, with the union event, he says that there's more that can be done. What is he doing right now? What is that more that he could be doing right now?
Well, look, he's always going to make sure to take action when it comes to. Don't have anything to announce at this time of any actions that's being taken. But if you look at the bipartisan infrastructure legislation, you look like the Inflation Reduction Act, you look at the CHIPS and Science Act, these are pieces of legislation, historic legislation, that has touched on the very things that you just laid out, right? We think about the CHIPS and Science Act bringing back manufacturing jobs here. 800,000 manufacturing jobs have been brought back under this administration. You think about creating good-paying jobs. The president talked about that. I talked about 12.6 million jobs being created. That's going to continue under the bipartisan infrastructure legislation. That's going to continue under the Inflation Reduction Act. That's going to continue under the CHIPS and Science Act. So again, there are things that this president has done that is going to have long-lasting effect. And that's going to be important to millions and millions of Americans and American families across the country.